His lover walked into my house smirking. She didn't leave smiling. She was standing in my kitchen when I came home from the grocery store. Just standing there like she owned the place, wearing red lipstick and a smirk that made my blood boil. I dropped my bags on the floor, oranges rolling everywhere, and stared at this stranger in my house. She looked me up and down slowly, that smirk getting wider. Then she said the words that changed everything. "I'm Vanessa. I've been sleeping with your husband for 2 years. He gave me a key." She held it up, dangling it like a trophy. My heart stopped, but I didn't let my face show it. Instead, I smiled back and said something that wiped that smirk right off her face. "Perfect timing," I told her, walking past her to put my purse down. "I've been waiting to meet you." That confused her. I could see it in her eyes. This wasn't how she'd imagined this going. She probably expected tears, screaming, maybe me collapsing in shock. Instead, I started putting groceries away like nothing was wrong. She just stood there, uncertain now. "Waiting to meet me?" she finally asked. I nodded, putting milk in the fridge. "Oh yes. Derek told me all about you last week. Said you'd probably show up here eventually trying to cause drama." He was right. Her face changed completely. The confidence cracked just a little. "He told you about me?" I kept my voice calm and even, like we were discussing the weather. "Of course he told me. We tell each other everything. 20 years of marriage, you learn to be honest." I wasn't lying exactly. Derek had told me about someone at work, but he'd called it a close friendship. Said I was paranoid for questioning it. Now here she was in my kitchen, and I was making it up as I went along. But she didn't know that. "He said you were getting clingy. That you thought he was going to leave me for you." Vanessa's face went pale. "That's not true. He loves me. He said he's leaving you next month." I laughed. Actually laughed, and it sounded real because part of it was. The absurdity of this whole situation was almost funny. "Next month? Is that what he told you? Let me guess, he just needs to wait until after his promotion? Or maybe until the holidays are over?" Her silence told me I'd guessed right. I pulled out my phone and opened our joint bank account, turning the screen toward her. Does a man planning to leave his wife just put a down payment on their dream vacation home? We closed on it yesterday. $50,000. Check the date. She looked at the screen, and I watched the confidence drain from her face completely. Her hands started shaking. "You're lying," she whispered, but her voice had no strength in it. I shrugged and put my phone away. "Call him right now. Ask him about the lake house. Ask him about the 20-year anniversary party we're planning for next month. Ask him about the couples therapy we've been going to every Tuesday." That last part was completely made up, but I was on a roll. Vanessa pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. She dialed and put it on speaker. Derek answered on the third ring, his voice warm. "Hey beautiful, miss me already?" I raised my eyebrow at Vanessa. She looked like she might be sick. "Derek, are you buying a lake house with your wife?" The silence on the phone was so long I almost laughed again. Then Derek's voice came back, completely different now. Cold. Careful. "Vanessa? Where are you?" She looked at me, and I could see tears forming. "I'm at your house. Your wife is here. She says you told her about me. She says you're not leaving her." More silence. Then, put my wife on the phone. I took the phone from Vanessa's shaking hand. "Hi honey. Your girlfriend let herself in with the key you gave her. We're having a nice chat." Derek started talking fast, making excuses, but I hung up. I'd heard enough of his voice for one day. Vanessa was crying now, mascara running down her face. "He told me you barely talked anymore," she sobbed. "He said you slept in separate rooms. That the marriage was dead and he was just waiting for the right time." I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. We remodeled our bedroom last month. King-size bed, new furniture. Does that sound like separate rooms to you? I opened my phone again and showed her recent photos. Me and Derek at dinner last week. Us hiking last weekend. His arm around me in every picture, both of us smiling. They were real photos, taken before I knew about her. But looking at them now, I wondered if his smiles had been real or just another lie. Vanessa looked at each photo like it was a knife. "Why are you showing me these?" she asked, her voice breaking completely. "Why aren't you angry?" I sat down at the kitchen table and gestured for her to sit too. She did, like a puppet with cut strings. "I am angry," I told her honestly. "I'm furious. But not at you. You're not the first and probably won't be the last. My husband is a liar. He's good at it too. Made you believe a whole story that isn't true. Made you think you were special." She flinched at that. "But here's the thing, Vanessa. I own half of everything he has. The house, the cars, his business, his retirement accounts." "You? You have a key and a bunch of lies." Something changed in her face then. The tears stopped. She wiped her eyes, smearing her makeup even more. "His business," she repeated. I nodded. "Oh yes. I'm a co-owner. Been involved since the start. Every decision goes through me. Every major expense needs both signatures." This was absolutely true, and I'd never been more grateful for it. We'd set it up that way years ago for tax purposes. "So all those business trips he probably told you about?" I approved every single one. Knew exactly where he was going and when. That wasn't entirely true, but she didn't need to know that. "He told me you didn't understand him," she whispered. "That you didn't care about his dreams." "His dreams that I helped fund," I said flatly. "His dreams that I worked 2 jobs to support when we were starting out. His dreams that became our dreams until apparently he decided to dream with other people." The bitterness in my voice was real now. I couldn't hide it anymore. Vanessa looked down at her hands. "I'm not a bad person," she said quietly. "I didn't know it was like this." He made it sound so different. I believed her. She looked young, maybe late 20s. Pretty in that fresh way that doesn't last. Derek was 45. He'd probably seemed mature, established, exciting. "How old are you?" I asked. 28, she answered. I nodded. I'd been 28 when I married him. The pattern was so clear it hurt. "Let me tell you what's going to happen now," I said, my voice steady again. "You're going to leave here. You're going to block his number. You're going to move on with your life and find someone who isn't married." Vanessa looked up at me, confused. "That's it? You're just letting me go?" I stood up and walked to the door, opening it. "I'm not your enemy." "He is. He lied to both of us. The difference is, I have legal protections and you have nothing. If you're smart, you'll walk away now before you waste more time on a man who will never leave his wife." She stood slowly, grabbing her purse. At the door, she turned back. "Aren't you going to divorce him?" I smiled, and this time it was genuine. "Oh, I'm going to do much worse than that." I didn't explain further. Vanessa studied my face for a moment, then nodded slowly and walked out. I closed the door behind her and locked it, adding the chain for good measure. Then I walked calmly to my bedroom, sat on the edge of our king-size bed, and finally let myself feel everything. The anger, the hurt, the betrayal. I cried hard for maybe 10 minutes. Then I was done. I washed my face, fixed my makeup, and started making phone calls. If Derek thought Vanessa showing up was his biggest problem today, he was very, very wrong. I had plans now, and they started with my lawyer. My lawyer's name was Patricia, and she'd handled my mother's estate years ago. She answered on the second ring. I explained everything quickly and clearly. The affair, Vanessa's visit, Derek's lies. Patricia listened without interrupting, and when I finished, she was quiet for a moment. How long has this been going on? She asked. She said 2 years. I have no idea if that's true or if there have been others. Patricia made a sound like she was writing notes. And you're co-owner of his business? I confirmed it. Good. That's very good. Don't confront him yet. Don't let him know you're planning anything. Can you act normal for a few days? I thought about it. After the performance I'd just given Vanessa, I could definitely act. Yes. Perfect, Patricia said. Here's what we're going to do. First, I need you to gather every financial document you can find. Bank statements, business records, tax returns, everything. Make copies and store them somewhere he can't access. Do you have a safe place? I thought of my best friend Lauren's house. Yes, I do. Patricia continued. Second, I'm going to hire a forensic accountant. If he's been hiding money or planning to leave, there will be a trail. Affairs are expensive. Hotels, gifts, restaurants. All of that shows up somewhere. My mind was racing. I'd never looked at our accounts suspiciously before. What had I missed? Third, act completely normal. Can you do that? I could. I would. For this, I could do anything. Derek came home 3 hours later. I was cooking dinner like nothing had happened. He walked in cautiously, looking around like he expected chaos. When he saw me at the stove, calm and cooking, he seemed confused. Hi honey, I said brightly. How was work? He set his briefcase down slowly. We need to talk about today. I turned, giving him my full attention. You mean about your girlfriend breaking into our house? I kept my tone light, almost amused. He flinched. She's not my girlfriend. It's complicated. She's confused about our relationship. I stirred the pasta. Clearly. She seemed to think you were leaving me. I told her that was ridiculous. We're stronger than ever, right? I watched his face carefully. He didn't know what to say. Right, he finally agreed, coming closer. It was a mistake. A stupid mistake. She meant nothing. I'm sorry she bothered you. I turned back to the stove to hide my expression. He thought he was getting away with this. Thought his usual charm and apologies would work like always. These things happen, I said casually. 20 years together, there are bound to be temptations. I'm just glad you came to your senses. I felt him relax behind me. You're amazing, he said, wrapping his arms around me from behind. I don't deserve you. That part was true. He absolutely didn't deserve me. I let him hold me, planning my next moves in my head. Over dinner, I asked about his day. He talked about work, avoiding any mention of Vanessa. I smiled and nodded, the perfect understanding wife. That night, after Derek fell asleep, I went through his home office. Every drawer, every file, every paper. I took photos of everything with my phone. Bank statements showing cash withdrawals I didn't recognize. Credit card bills with charges to restaurants I'd never been to. Hotel receipts from cities he'd supposedly visited for work. 2 years of evidence, maybe more. My hands shook as I documented it all, but I didn't stop. By 3 in the morning, I had everything uploaded to a secure cloud account that only I could access. I also found something else. A second phone hidden in his desk drawer. I turned it on. Dozens of messages from multiple women. Vanessa wasn't the only one. She wasn't even the most recent. I sat in his office chair, scrolling through messages from at least 4 different women. All of them thought they were special. All of them believed his lies about our dead marriage. One woman, named Caroline, had messages from just last week. He'd told her he loved her. That he was finally ready to leave me. The same lies he'd told Vanessa. I felt sick but also strangely calm. This wasn't just an affair. This was a pattern. A lifestyle. Derek had been living a double life, maybe a triple life, for years. And I'd been completely blind to it. I took photos of every conversation, every lie, every promise he'd made to these women. Then I turned off the phone and put it back exactly where I'd found it. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Derek kissed me goodbye, told me to rest, and left like everything was normal. The second his car pulled out of the driveway, I was on the phone with Patricia. I sent her everything I'd found. She was quiet as she looked through it all, then she let out a low whistle. "This is better than I expected," she said. "Worse for you emotionally, but better for the case. With this evidence and your co-ownership of the business, we can do serious damage." I asked what she meant. Patricia explained that in our state, infidelity affected divorce settlements. With proof this extensive, I could potentially get much more than half. "How much more?" I asked. "Potentially everything," she answered. I spent the next week being the perfect wife. I smiled, I cooked, I laughed at Derek's jokes. We even went out to dinner twice. He thought the Vanessa situation had blown over. That I'd forgiven him and moved on like I always did. Because looking back, I realized this probably wasn't the first time. There had been signs before, things I'd ignored or explained away. Late nights at work. Business trips that seemed excessive. That time 2 years ago when a woman called our house asking for him and hung up when I answered. I'd asked him about it and he'd said it was a confused client. I'd believed him. I'd always believed him. But not anymore. Now I saw everything clearly, and I was done being blind. Patricia called me on Friday. "Everything's ready," she said. "The papers are drawn up. The forensic accountant found more than we expected. He's been moving money into accounts under his business name, probably planning his exit. But since you're co-owner, he needed your signature for any major transactions. He forged it twice." My stomach dropped. He forged my signature? That was fraud. Actual crime-level fraud. Yes. We have handwriting experts ready to testify. This goes beyond divorce now. This could mean criminal charges if you want to pursue them. I thought about it. Did I want Derek in jail? Part of me did. But mostly I just wanted him gone and I wanted what was mine. Let's focus on the divorce first, I decided. But keep that information ready. Monday morning, Derek left for work like usual. I waited 30 minutes, then called Patricia. "Do it," I said. She'd already prepared everything. Within an hour, Derek was served divorce papers at his office. By noon, his business accounts were frozen pending investigation. By 2 o'clock, I'd changed all the locks on our house and his belongings were packed in the garage. Patricia had moved fast, getting an emergency order based on the financial fraud. Derek couldn't access our joint accounts, couldn't make any business decisions without court approval, couldn't even come home without police escort to get his things. He called me 17 times. I didn't answer. Finally, he sent a text. Just one word. "Why?" I responded with photos of his secret phone messages. Then I blocked his number. The next few weeks were chaos. Derek hired a lawyer who tried to claim I'd stolen business assets. My lawyer showed the court evidence of his fraud and affairs. Derek tried to say the affairs were lies, that I'd made it all up. Then Vanessa agreed to testify. Turns out, when I'd told her to walk away, she'd been angry enough to keep screenshots of every conversation she'd had with Derek. Caroline, one of the other women, did the same. They'd both been lied to and manipulated, and they wanted revenge as much as I did. Derek's lawyer tried to settle, offering me 60%. Patricia laughed and countered with 95%. They refused. We went to court. The judge looked at all the evidence, the forged signatures, the affairs, the hidden money. Then he ruled. I got the house, 80% of Derek's business, and most of our savings. Derek got to keep his car and his retirement account, which I'd wisely never tried to touch. The judge also ordered him to pay my legal fees, which were substantial. As we left the courthouse, Derek tried to approach me. His lawyer pulled him back, but he called out anyway. Was it worth it? Destroying everything we built? I stopped and turned to look at him. Really look at him. This man I'd loved for 20 years. This man who'd lied to my face while sleeping with multiple women. This man who'd forged my signature and stolen from our business. I didn't destroy anything, I said clearly. You did. I just made sure you paid for it. Then I walked away and didn't look back. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my house. My house now, legally and completely. I've redecorated, removing every trace of Derek from these rooms. The bedroom is now painted soft gray instead of the blue he'd wanted. The living room has new furniture that actually fits my style. His office is now my art studio, something I'd always wanted but never had space for. I sold my share of his business back to him at a significant profit and invested the money wisely. I have more money now than I ever did married. More freedom too. Sometimes I think about Vanessa walking into this house with that smirk, so confident and sure. She didn't leave smiling, but in a weird way, she gave me the push I needed to take my life back. I should probably thank her for that. But mostly, I just thank myself for being strong enough to finish what she started.